Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Sketchman Draws. This is Boris. So just a few introductions because I think every video is someone's first video on my channel. So you can check out my content on my website at sketchmanboris.com. You can find general illustrations, fan art on my Instagram account at sketchman_boris, and I do comic strips on my Instagram account at comics by Boris with an X. And of course, if this is your first time, please like and subscribe. So my channel is Sketchman Draws. So this time, this is a video summarizing the lesson that I did on Sunday. So every Sunday I do, oops, I selected the wrong picture. Every Sunday I do a topic, different topic on drawing. So this time I did how to draw flowers and trees. But before we get to that, some basics. And so first of all, I wanted to answer a few questions or remarks regarding drawing materials. So when I announced the event, some people asked me about drawing materials, like what should I have or what do I need to draw. Well, if you're starting, I think just start with whatever you have. So don't spend much money, or like, you know, you can just buy things from your like grocery store, or like, you know, just a basic pencil and paper and of course eraser, and you know, for pencil just choose a HB pencil, and so yeah, just start with that. If you want, you can also buy a pen, like a ballpoint pen or like a gel pen, whatever you can find. Okay, so but other than that, I think, you know, no need for any special tools, because it's not the tools that make the master, you are the master. You have to use the tools in a skillful way. So the skill really comes from you, not from the tools. Okay. The next thing that I want to talk about is forms and shading. So especially when drawing plants, trees and so on, we'll be looking at cylindrical shapes or rounded surfaces, circular shapes. So for example, if you take something like so let me draw a cylinder here. Let me draw another one. So because we have, you know, pencils or pens, you can draw, like, you can shade it like this, which means like or you can shade it like this. You can go along the rounded shape of the cylinder. So for example, when it comes to petals, it also makes sense to follow the form, or so for example, for this one, if I just, like, you know, shaded it like this, it doesn't really make sense. It doesn't show what I'm trying to represent. So let me erase that. So it makes more sense to shade it like this. And as you can see, it already shows the form, right? Like it's already gives you that illusion of that there is actually a petal there, right? One folded outward and one folded inward. Another thing that we need to keep in mind, which I covered in my last video about how when we drew fur for dogs and cats, is the direction of mark making, which means when you're drawing foliage, leaves, and so on, like, you need to be aware that usually it goes from a central point and outwards in a circular motion. So for example, if I really draw a cartoony version, a simplified symbolic version of a bush, as you can see, like, you know, like doing these little shapes and in this outward motion, so this allows us to create the illusion of foliage. And same as fur, you don't have to draw everything. You just need to draw like selected lines. So same here for flowers. Most flowers have this shape where petals go from a central point. The other thing that I wanted to cover is like when you're drawing especially organic things like plants and natural things or things from nature, if you draw like this, like really straight, almost similar sized blades of grass, for example, it will not look really natural. You need to vary the shapes, the sizes, and the direction, of course. So that will help you sort of create the illusion of organic material. So these are the things that you need to keep in mind. And now let's try to draw a tree. I have to admit, this is not like the picture. I think it was not really like it was a small picture, so I had to make it bigger, so it's a little bit pixelated. But it's okay. Like we can work with that. So I'm going to quickly like do a time lapse here, so that when I actually draw the tree, it will be time lapse, which means I will just increase the speed. But when I approach a tree, I'll start with the trunk, which is usually the base of the tree is usually the widest trunk that you can find, or the widest part of the tree, I would say, in terms of trunk. And then afterwards it goes on into branches and becomes thinner. And when it comes to the foliage, which means the leaves on the tree, I will try to spot clumps of leaves. And here, for example, in the picture, I just reduced the opacity just to show you what I mean. So when I'm drawing, this is what I see in my head when I approach in drawing a tree. And so this I can transfer it to my canvas, and then so it can be done in many ways. I can do these clumps of leaves with pencil, and then like in a really with a light touch, and then go back in with pen, and then sort of apply pressure, and then build the details. Or I could just draw the tree in pencil. So I think which is what I'm going to do. So here, as you can see, this is not the actual speed I draw. I just sped it up so that you could see the process. And of course, we could see in this case, we can see the branch inside, or the trunk inside between the leaves. So I wanted to show that. So again, try to remember that the direction of the leaves, and so you don't need when we talked about fur for cats and dogs, you don't need to draw everything. You just need to draw where the shadow falls, and your brain sort of fills the rest, the gap. So if you have any questions or comments, or even requests for topics you want me to cover for next videos, please let them in the comment section below. So again, I would like to remind you that I'll put you have the link in the description. These are videos based on classes that I teach every Sunday on 2 p.m. Bangkok time, Bangkok, Thailand time. It's online, and after the lesson I usually do these videos to summarize what we talked about. And also, if you join the meetup, you have the privilege to suggest the next week's topic. So which means you can also suggest next week's the following week's video topic. So again, as you can see, here I'm just trying to put the leaves or these create this illusion of texture or foliage just where the shadow falls. So in this case, because the light, our light source is coming from our left hand side, top left hand side, so the shadow falls on the right lower side. So another thing which I could have also done, again, these trees, like, you know, you can always work on it as much as you want and then try to accomplish the effect you want. But so here I'm just showing in color how I would do it. So for example, if I draw like a clump of foliage, I would just drop a flat color, and then I would go back in with the darker color to sort of do basically what I did with the black, the darker values, but with darker color basically. And I would even add, if I can, I would even add like some highlights. So this is how I would approach a tree. Okay, so just you can look at the final illustrations on my Instagram account at sketchman_boris. So here I just wanted to sort of remind you of the process, so I just took another picture and reduced the opacity just to show you like the same kind of process can be applied here. I'll just try to find the little bundles of leaves that I could transfer to my canvas and then draw the tree. And same here, the light is coming from the top left hand side corner, so the shadow will fall on the lower right hand side corner, on the opposite side. So I just wanted to show you this picture that someone suggested that we draw this tree. Of course, it's a really big tree with the mushroom shaped, but you know, I just managed to show maybe half of how to draw half of the tree. And I have to admit, like, drawing a tree is really difficult and takes a lot of time. So let's move to flowers. So I think roses are, I would say, the most, like, you know, commonly, I think, known flowers, and I think that's what most people want to draw. But I think we can also use the rose to sort of talk about the process for drawing flowers. So here, for example, the first thing I see is like from the middle, like the petals are sort of organized in a spiral way, and the petals are overlapping on one another. So that's something that I just say to myself when I approach the drawing, the reference. I just said that I need to keep that. So again, here I'm just I just sped up the video so that you can, and it's nothing new. I'm just looking at petals and I'm just trying to replicate the shape. So there's not any I didn't have any interesting insights on this. So just as long as it's like I said, like it's really random and with random shapes and make it look organic, I think that's fine. So when it comes to flowers, for shading, so here, for example, the surface of the petal is very smooth, so we want to show the smooth transition between the dark and the light side of the petal, so which means from the shadows to the local color. So in digital, what I would do is just take a smudge brush and then just smudge it. If you're using traditional medium, like for example in this case we said pencil, so what you can do is You can take the corner of a piece of paper and then use that to rub and smudge the pencil lines to create that smooth effect or smudge effect. Some artists buy stump that like some shops sell for actually smoothing out the pencil lines, or you can use cotton swab, which is also a possibility. I don't recommend using your fingers. I know some people use it, but it's not really good because you need to keep your fingers clean as much as possible. So again, yeah, I'm just looking at the reference and then sort of replicating what I have seen. Again, trying to create that smooth transition. And again, I can do many passes at this, which means I can do many layers of this, right? As much as you feel, until you feel that it represents how it's shown in the picture. But here, I'm just going in quickly just to show you the approach. You can apply this and see it for yourself. So again, here, this is not the actual speed I draw, this is just sped up. And yeah, so I think those are the main two topics that I wanted to cover for this video. So if you like this kind of content, please like, share and subscribe. And if you have any suggestions for other topics, please put them in the comments. So here I did the same thing for color. So I brought flat color. I did the same thing I did for the foliage early on for the tree. I bring in a light color, flat color, and then I put in a darker color, and then I can go back in with a little bit even darker color, and then so on, and then smudge it to create that, to sort of blend them together. That's the word I was looking for, blending. Because in Clip Studio Paint, which is the software I use, they call it a blending brush. So, and I think that's it. I think if you, thanks for watching. So, see you next time.